Oops. Howie Roseman did it again. Howie Roseman found a way to trade Bryce Huff. Wow. Phillies struggling, losing 4 in a row. What's your level of concern after this weekend's games? Or is there none? Trending the end. Well, you got lots to talk about. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please, wherever you're watching, YouTube or Twitter, please hit that like button. Please hit that share button. And, of course, please subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. Sitting today, starting this week off at 529 subscribers. Where will we finish? I don't know, but it's free to do. Just hit that like button, hit that share button, and hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. Guys, we got lots to talk about since the last time we went live on Thursday. 2 things have happened. 2 important things. Important thing number 1, the Phillies have lost 4 games in a row since the last time we went live. Not good. Second most important thing, actually the most important thing, but the other big thing that's happened since the last time we went live. Howie Roseman, Philadelphia Eagles general manager, found a way to fix his biggest mistake of the last 4 years and found a trade partner for Bryce Huff. And we're going to get into all the details of this trade today, all the ins and outs, what it means, if anything. We've got a poll question running on our Twitter page. Should the Eagles make a bold trade like trading for Trey Hendrickson now that they found a way to get rid of Bryce Huff? Early voting, 7 votes in, 57% say no. So we're 4-3 on the no versus the yes right there very early in the show. But guys, so we're talking lots of Eagles. We're talking lots of Phillies today. So we're going to talk Scotty Scheffler again, K1. Yes, another big win this past week at the Memorial. Scotty Scheffler's just on another planet right now on the PGA Tour. And that makes it kind of boring to an extent when you watch it on the weekend. News from last night. I think this came in last night. Crawford time. There's no argument you can make against it anymore. Gabe Brinko is about to go on a heat streak too. The Phillies need to make some major adjustments. I think they need to make some pivots here in early June. It's now June 2nd. The Phillies definitely have some work to do. We'll see what they do. They're already making one change with bringing up Mick Abel and putting him back into the rotation for good for now, probably at least until Andrew Painter is ready. Most recent reports, Andrew Painter won't be up till after the All-Star break. So there is that. There is that to think about, but also there's other changes that need to be made on this team, and we'll get into that. Scotty, the Surgeon Scheffler. I think the funniest part of Scotty Scheffler's win at the Memorial this weekend is when he greets his wife and his baby off the 18th green after winning the event. His wife hands him his baby boy and says, "Oh, by the way, there's a poop stain on the back." Like, if you don't see that and just laugh at even Scotty Scheffler stuck in a dad moment right there, it's kind of comical. I just won $4 million, but you're handing me a baby with a dirty diaper. Yeah, that's something. They're having a relief pitching problem again. Oh, no. Yes, Phillies have a relief pitching problem. They have a starting pitching problem. They have an offensive problem. Bryce Harper has had an up and down year, but he goes down and gets out of this lineup, and instantly the Phillies lineup dies. It's crazy how Bryce Harper going down affects the rest of the team so much. This is SNUFU happens roughly this time of season. The Phillies do, seem to be an inconsistent team regularly. They do. I get it. I like to think, even me, Mr. Negative, like to give them the benefit of the doubt that sometimes these little funks will happen. But this funk specifically that the Phillies are going through seems to be way too consistent with the problems they always seem to have. It's not a new problem. It's the same problem. Relaunch says they have a fielding problem. Also, absolutely. Getting crushed all the time. For talking about Edmundo Sosa, and he had a key error yesterday in the game. Edmundo Sosa is not an everyday player, but he's out there as an everyday player. And everyone's like, oh, you can't criticize him. He's great. He's got a near 300 average. Well, his average since he's been playing every day is 236. It's not very good. What's up, Marshawn, early in the house? Phillies can't beat winning teams. I mean, they got just under 500 against winning teams, obviously. A great winning record against good teams or bad teams. Look. I can't argue the point. I can't, Marshawn. Phillies are struggling. What's up, Adam? Good morning to you. Hope you're well. We're changing the name again. Michigan Panthers UFL champs. Is that accurate? Or did the season end finally? Thank goodness. Yes, the Eagles found a way to trade Bryce Huff this weekend. And step one is get rid of a mid-edge. Step two, get a good edge. That's Michigan's comments. Worse than mid, by the way. I think the Bryce Huff trade this weekend, it's confusing to a lot of fans because a lot of content creators don't know how the salary cap works. Big picture, little all over the place. And you've got 97 different reports out there from beat reporters and other, content creators saying it clears up this much cap space, it clears up that much cap space, this and that. And in reality, it only freed up a couple $1 million in cap space this year by trading Bryce Huff. But you get off of Bryce Huff, you get him off the team, he's a wasted roster spot, etc. Now the Eagles have 2 open roster spots. You're going to pick up a late round draft pick in the future in this trade with the San Francisco 49ers. You freed up cash, which we know is big and important to the Eagles at this point, freeing up cash. So there are a lot of good things that happened by getting rid of Bryce Huff this weekend. Mainly just getting rid of a wasted roster spot. And getting rid of him also opens the door for one Antoine Powell-Ryland, Rick's guy. I see Rick in the comments right there. Opens the door for APR to get more reps in OTAs and in training camp this upcoming, off season. So there's a lot of good that came out of. It's just crazy that you found a way to get anything for him. It literally spelled, I've got to cut this guy. But yet Howie Roseman was able to find a taker. It's kind of crazy. It really is. Poe what? Rick's seething. Rick's not seething. Rick's happy. Opens the door big. See, we're on the same page, Rick. Yeah, opens the door big time for Powell-Ryland. Now, I've got the poll question running. Should the Eagles make a bold trade like trading for Trey Hendrickson? Obviously, they've got about $27 million in cap space this year left the Philadelphia Eagles. The problem with the cap space that the Eagles have this year is that next year they've got over $40 million in dead cap space or dead cap money that's going out to 4 players that aren't on the team anymore. Bryce Huff will count for $16.6 million in cap space next year. Darius Slay over $15 million. James Bradbury over $7 million. And Brandon Graham almost $4.5 million. Little over $40 million. So you'll need to be able to roll over as much of this $27 million in cap space to help offset the dead cap money next year. That's first part. Trey Hendrickson sounds like a great idea. Trey Hendrickson would be this big, bold swing that Howie is very, very keen to make very often. Trey Hendrickson wants $30 million a year. You got to pay Jalen Carter $30 million next year. You got to pay Nolan Smith probably $20 million next offseason. Plus, you got over $40 million in dead cap space next year. While Trey Hendrickson sounds like a good idea, it doesn't fit the plan. It also doesn't fit the theory that Howie Roseman and the Eagles are looking to keep this team, specifically the defense, young. I mean, outside of Adoree Jackson, who is a backup cornerback, everybody else on the Eagles defense is like 27 years old and younger. It's a super young defense. Howie says Rick is wrong. What? Howie, Rick, you're in a good mood, great mood. I'm in a great mood. It's Monday. It's beautiful. Good morning, Chet. It's Monday, and the Phillies are in a funk, and we've got some great weather this week. Great weather. I'm going out golfing today. I got a tee time at Kennett Country Club for a charity event. It's a beautiful day to go hit the golf links with my man Jim, the realtor. Super excited. Never played Kennett Country Club before. I've driven by it a million times. Always wanted to play it. So super excited for that. This rookie class is going to be a major contributors to this team. Yes and no. Major contributors, some of them, Jahad Campbell, Andrew Makuba. Pal Ryland maybe has a chance now to be part of a rotation. Maybe some of the offensive linemen make the team as depth. But yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about Pal Ryland in the later picks. Forgetting about Jahad Campbell and Andrew Makuba, who both will be starters this year. So, and Vanilla, I don't know, like, how am I forgetting some of these names? I have no idea. No idea. Yeah. See, I pulled out a new thing. That's right, I said that. The Phillies will be fine. This is baseball. Yes, the Phillies, in theory, will be fine. It's baseball. You're not going to win them all. But, Rick, you have to at least understand why Phillies fans get frustrated when they win 9 games in a row against very bad teams. Then they face a couple good teams, and they lose 5 out of 7, 4-game losing streak. When the offense, Rick, to me, the biggest thing to me this weekend spelled is just how much of a team MVP Bryce Harper is. Whether Bryce Harper's struggling or not, when he's there in the lineup every day, this team has a certain energy to it. You take Bryce Harper out of the lineup, which you should have probably put him on the IL, and all of a sudden the offense goes to shit. To me, that's the biggest surprise. And Mac McWilliams. How do I keep forgetting about Mac McWilliams? I'm not sure why I keep forgetting about Mac McWilliams. What if Jahad first round good and Rex quarterbacks? He isn't. There's no what if Jahad Campbell is good. He is great already. Yankees had a very similar weekend to the Phillies. I'm sure Yankees fans are criticizing them. Peanuts in the house, relying on the young guys to pick it up this upcoming season to gamble Howie is banking on. Fangio has to be confident. I love this comment from you, Peanut. Relying on the young guys to pick it up is a gamble. Howie tends to win at gambling more often than he loses, but I think it's a gamble based off of faith in Vic Fangio to get these young guys ready. Now, I'm not, the poll, and guys, not only are you liking and sharing and subscribing to this video and channel, you're also voting on the poll, okay? And it says make a bold trade like Trey Hendrickson. There's other bold trades you can make, obviously. But I don't see the Eagles doing that. I feel that Howie will at least let Vic Fangio have this week of OTAs, all of July at training camp to figure it out. And then maybe August 1st, sit down with Vic. Do you need me to go pick up another veteran defensive end? And that's what they'll do. They're going to play the long game. They're not waiting for June 1st cuts. They're waiting for August 1st cuts. August 15th cuts. And then, and only then maybe, adding an edge, adding a corner. Justin Simmons still wants to be here so bad. I get it. But if Justin Simmons is available on August 15th and Andrew Makuba or Sidney Brown can't do it, then maybe we'll have this conversation. Again, $27 million in cap space the Eagles now have. Doesn't mean they have to spend it. In fact, it means they probably won't spend a majority of it. There's one thing the Eagles should do with that cap space, and it's try to find a number, a cheap number, to get Reed Blankenship extended. 2 to 3 years. I don't know. Can you get Reed Blankenship to sign a 2-year, $20 million deal? A 3-year, $22 million deal? 3 years, $22 million, $10 million guaranteed. Can you get Reed Blankenship to accept that, to stay here? Because if you can, that's the only money that's getting spent in the next month. And Reed Blankenship's a polarizing name with the Eagles. Some people love him. Some people think he's overrated. Me, I'm in the middle. He's a good player. Not great. Serviceable. But that's it. Rick says that's why they needed to retaliate for hitting Harper. Would have strengthened the bond. Yes, absolutely. I don't understand why. I mean, he's missed what now? 4 games? He claims he'll be back. Maybe 5 games he's missed. Claims he'll be back Tuesday in Toronto. Not confirmed by the team, but he said it. The shortest stint on the IL is what? 10 games. You could have brought Otto Kemp up here and gave him a 10-game stretch at first base. You could have. To see if you've got anything. To showcase him in the trade market. Whatever you want to do. It's just crazy how Bryce Harper going down affected the offense so much. Does that mean maybe Harper is more of a leader than we give him credit for? I don't know, Big Al, if he's a bigger locker room leader than we give him credit for, but maybe the on the field, in the dugout leader. I mean, he's still in the dugout even though he's banged up. They were home games. But maybe he is a little bit more of a leader than we realize. He's maybe their emotional leader. He's their, I don't know the right word. He's not the guy that's going to take you in the locker room and talk you down or straighten you out. But he's going to do something. He's got to have some kind of leadership ability to have him lose him and have something go as bad as this weekend has gone for the Phillies. It really, there's got to be something to it. Has to be. Yo, Phil, when Bills on HBO Max, what? They're the training camp Hard Knocks, the Buffalo Bills. I think blank, average to mid, and you got to pay them that way. Knicks Knicks fans are crying. Yes, the Knicks lose to the Indiana Pacers. TJ McConnell versus Isaiah Joe. Who wins their first championship? That's it. I don't know who I'm rooting for in that series right now. Good morning, Judd. Happy Monday to you. Hope you are well. There are no questions left. Justin Crawford left to answer. None, 0. Dude, I've been saying it, Nooms. I don't watch a lot of minor leaguers, but minor league baseball. But I've been saying it for 2 years now on this show. Justin Crawford's my favorite Phillies prospect, not named Andrew Painter. All right, he was the only untouchable. There's no untouchable. He was the guy I've wanted to see the most. You got to get him up here. There's no reason not to. I don't care about Super 2. I don't care about it. Just bring him up. Just bring him up. I don't think Otto Kemp will be up here outside multiple injuries. They want to sell him. I agree. You want to sell him too. Maybe you showcase him for a week, but maybe not. But you had to mix something up. And you're just wasting Bryce Harper sitting on the bench for 5 games. I get that. We're talking football as well. A little bit of golf. On top of that, maybe a smidge NBA Finals. Barely any. I can't believe still, if you don't want to talk baseball, I still can't believe that Howie Roseman found somebody that actually wanted Bryce Huff. And coincidentally, it was the 49ers who, their defensive coordinator, was Bryce Huff's head coach with the Jets when he did have success. I don't know what those things in between TJ and Embiid are. Probably some kind of TJ is greater than Embiid or something like that. And I'm so torn on the Knicks versus the Pacers. On one hand, one of my good friends, Grant Downing, the idiot that thinks that George Brett is greater than Michael Jack Schmidt. He's wrong. He's an Oklahoma City fan. He loves his OKC Thunder. But on the other hand, you got Philly process legend TJ McConnell. probably the nicest guy in the entire NBA. Probably the guy that does more with less than anybody in the NBA. The ultimate team player, the ultimate role player. A guy that this Sixers team severely lacked over the last few years. A guy that I still love the story from his rookie year here in Philly. Tried to go to Xfinity Live, forgot his ID, and the bouncer, even though he played for the Sixers, had no clue who he was. Because he's the most nondescript, he's just the most basic-looking dude. So I don't know, do I root for my best buds team, or do I root for one of my favorite Sixers of all time? I don't know. I'm torn on that. I know OKC is a huge favorite, but I think the Pacers win the series. Pacers are a deep team. They play a good 8-9-man rotation, sometimes more. OKC is the huge favorite because they got the NBA MVP in SGA, and they probably should be favored in the series. But I think it's a 7-game series. I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle. Pacers play really good defense. They're well coached. India's better coach and more experienced depth. Yeah, exactly, Noobs. I can't remember the last time that the Sixers disappointed me and I actually cared about an NBA Finals. Because normally when my hometown team disappoints me in the playoffs, I kind of check out. And I checked out mostly on the NBA playoffs. Hell, the entire NBA season. But OKC has been a team I've been watching for a while. And the Pacers, because of the way they beat the New York Knicks, smashed them, makes me want to root for them, along with TJ McConnell. Obviously, the Halliburton to Sixers turned down trade that could have, should have, maybe didn't. Maybe it was never actually out there. Still makes me want to root for Halliburton. Although I'm not a big fan of Pascal Siakam. Big Al says, TJ would never play in the NBA if it wasn't for the process, everyone. TJ said, hold my beer and I'll make an NBA Finals before Embiid. Exactly. Oh, man. It breaks my heart. It does. The 2 leading scorers in Game 7 were 2 ex-Raptors that didn't want to play for Nick Nurse. Interesting, right? Interesting. What's there to say about Nick Nurse? Other than he should have been fired probably at the end of the season. Can we maybe please root for Pacers to win one? Yeah, I'm rooting for the Pacers, I think. But Halliburton kills people, so yeah. Who's this? Mr. Good Times. Howie's a great GM, but Huff's contract was awful and maybe the biggest miss of his tenure. You can't praise him for that move. Great comment. Great comment, Mr. Good Times. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to answer this in a very long answer, but also if you do me a favor, head over to the STT Sports Network YouTube page and tune in over there as well and hit the subscribe on that. I'd appreciate that. I think that Howie Roseman is getting a pass on the Bryce Huff contract disaster because we won the Super Bowl. If we did not win the Super Bowl, Mr. Good Times, we would have crushed him for spending $50 million on Bryce Huff that could have been spent wherever holes we had on this team that didn't work out in the past season. Winning cures all, okay? He definitely does not get blamed. And we got over $16 million in dead cap space next year because of this contract. So trading him away doesn't fix anything other than clear up the roster spot. And you're saying the biggest miss of his tenure. I say it's the biggest miss of his tenure since Nick Sirianni was hired. So from 21 on, it's his biggest miss. In 2020, you can argue that Jalen Reagor was a bigger miss when you had Justin Jefferson going the pick after or 2 or 3 picks after. There are other mistakes he has made over his 20-plus year career here in Philadelphia. But in recent memory, he's 1,000% Bryce Huff's contract the biggest mistake he's made. And you know what's funny? I've many times, we'll get back to the comments in a second, many times I've criticized Daryl Morey for he gets praised, Daryl Morey, for trading away and getting picks back for James Harden. But all he was doing was fixing his James Harden mistake. This Bryce Huff trade that Howie Roseman's getting praised for, even from me, I feel very hypocritical for. Because he's just fixing his mistake. Now, the good thing about Howie Roseman is he didn't waste time fixing his mistake. He just fixed it. Daryl Morey tends to wait way too long to fix his mistakes. So there's those two different ways to look at it. But I think you got a great point. You know, he's a great GM, but it was awful. And the biggest thing is that Howie winning and the Eagles winning the Super Bowl kind of hides the Huff mistake. Judd in the heezy, he is. Sometimes heart is more important. We always need heart to win, right? OKC is loaded either way. One very happy fan base coming. I love to see OKC. I mean, it's terrible for the ratings. The NBA casual fans will not tune in, but it's a great finals for basketball fans. Morey, biggest misstep, not trading Simmons for Halliburton, but instead trading for bum-ass James Harden. We still don't have 110% proof that was for real, but I still tend to believe or want to believe that it was, just so I can complain. Absolutely, but let's not praise him for. No, I appreciate your comment, Mr. Good Times. I really do, because that's in my notes to talk about it. I also host the Eagles Check Down on the Eagles Pinball Podcast Network. I talked about it on there as well. Winning the Super Bowl hid his big mistake. Howie does get a pass for winning the Super Bowl, as he should. And I think that's fair, too. He does. I mean, everybody gets a pass. Winning cures all, right? Championships cure all. Always lurking. Yeah, always peeking around the corner. Howie hasn't busted on draft pick in a very long time. We have to remember that every move Howie makes isn't going to be genius. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, the Carson Wentz contract absolutely is a big example too, and he fixed that mistake pretty quickly. Howie's success versus failure rate, percentage-wise, is probably better than anybody else in the NBA. The Huff trade is the difference between Howie now versus then, in a nutshell. Pivots quickly off mistakes. No, Noobs, I think you're spot on. I think this is exactly what it is. Howie does not wait anymore. Howie's not going to drag out his mistakes anymore. Howie makes a mistake, and he's moving on. Howie found somebody to take him. I mean, we still don't know what the draft pick. They say mid-round pick. I expect it to be a pick in like 2027. That's like a 6th-rounder, maybe a 7th-rounder with a condition to be a 6th-rounder. I don't know. It's going to be a late pick. It's nothing special, the pick we're going to get for him. Everyone misses on the draft picks and trades and free agents, but when you miss, it's best not to fall into the sunk cost trap. And again, there is some sunk cost. I mean, hold on, let me pull it back up here. $16,614,000 and $16,614,559. 5.41% of our cap, based off of this year's number, not with the increase, next year, is going towards Bryce Huff's contract. So there is, we got to say, at least out of the $27 million in cap space the Eagles have, they're going to have to at least put 17 of that aside just to cover Bryce Huff. Bryce wasn't the biggest mistake, really. He was a big mistake. Howie fixed his mistake for 2 reasons. He's a non-player. He could also become that locker room cancer. Absolutely. Winning is a great deodorant. Winning is a great distraction. Winning is a great everything. Solves all. Can't be perfect. Nobody's perfect, except for me. Even when I'm not perfect, I'm still perfect. Oilers win the rematch of the NHL Finals. I didn't even know they're in the finals. Oh, I've not paid attention to hockey playoffs at all, unfortunately. I wonder, however, as I am more glued into NBA than in a decade. That's interesting. You would think OKC versus Indy would bring in like the diehard basketball fans, the purists, but wouldn't bring in the casuals. I'm curious why. In 2012, he let DRC and Namdi stick around. Exactly. Big difference back then. Hell, even you can even go as far as saying, more recently with J.J. Ortega-Whiteside and how long he let him stick around for. He was here for, 2-3 years. When the Eagles rehired Joe Douglas, I thought that would have a major impact on trading Bryce Huff. Why? I don't get the because Joe Douglas was here. Joe Douglas knew what he was capable of with the Jets. He was there during his Jets tenure. I just think it was it's a perfect situation with Robert Saleh being the DC now with the 49ers. I think it makes a lot of sense. That was Andy move. Andy signed off on it, but it was Juan Castillo. Anytime anybody brings Juan Castillo into the conversation, I just have to get annoyed. Bringing up that bad memory. How is a 6th a mid-round pick? That point you just sit him and give him no show, no work. Because Howie loves those 6th-round picks. And they say middle-round pick. Maybe it's a 6th-round pick with a condition to become a 5th. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm kind of a boomer. Seeing the big teams win every year is kind of boring. That's an interesting way to put it. It is. Juan Castillo was as high up as Stout in this org, but that move to DC just left an awful. First off, here's a question: is Juan Castillo still in the NFL anywhere? Is he coaching at any level anymore? I'm honestly really, really curious. Really curious about that. It's just one of those weird things that Andy Reid did that I just, to this day, still cannot comprehend why he did it. What did Howie have to do with the Castillo F up? That was all Andy Reid. Promoting Juan Castillo. Now, was there nobody wanted the job? I vaguely remember. I don't know. Not going to lie, when I watched Joker win and he said, finally I can go home and do something I want, or a like that left a bad taste. It's weird. The Denver Nuggets and Nikolai Jokic, for as calm and basic of a player and person he is, they're not a very likable team. OKC's got some personalities. Indiana's that, blue collar, under the radar team. There is a good mix of young talent in the NBA Finals. And if the Thunder and the Pacers were to put out a great 7-game series where they go back and forth, knock down all close games, etc., it could be good for the growth of the NBA, this series. They're a guy with 3-letter names that's good. That collective group made a bad decision. The end of the Andy Reid era, period. Howie Roseman, Andy Reid, Juan Castillo, Jeffrey Lurie, the entire organization was just a failure at that point. There was no good moves happening. But see, the thing is, now, I guess to an extent, Andy Reid learned. I mean, he's got multiple Super Bowls with Kansas City now, thankfully because of Patrick Mahomes. Maybe lucking into Patrick Mahomes. But Howie Roseman, I don't want to talk about the Chiefs, Howie Roseman has been able to evolve from those disasters of the end of the Andy Reid era. He's learned. When he got banished by Chip Kelly, he went back and revisited every decision he made. Went back and revisited every mistake he made and found a way to learn from it. And I give him the utmost credit for that, Howie Roseman. Very rarely are executives willing to admit their mistakes and admit, I've got to change. That situation with the Chip Kelly situation here, the fact that he was willing to sit there for a year and learn from his mistakes and not just say, fire me, let me go somewhere else. Actually, credit to Jeffrey Lurie for not firing Howie Roseman and just sliding him into the back room for a little while. The playing basketball is annoying to Joker. That would make me not even getting paid. Chip Kelly finding crash burn in Las Vegas. Can't wait till he comes back here. I heard Hendrickson started out with New Orleans. He has to come to the Eagles now, considering the success rate of players. Look, Trey Hendrickson, just the player, not talking finances, would put the Eagles over the top. I mean, they're already very likely to return to the Super Bowl. If just making up numbers, if they're an 85% likely to repeat as champions, getting Trey Hendrickson would put them at 95%. But Trey Hendrickson doesn't fit the financial mold of what this team is building. He doesn't fit the age mold of what this building. And we don't know if he fits what Vic Fangio is building on the defense. Is Trey Hendrickson really going to drop back into coverage when Vic Fangio tells him to? I don't know. And again, financially, how do you fit him here? You got $27 million in cap space. You got over $40 million in dead cap space next year. Plus, you've got to pay Carter and Nolan Smith. So while Delco Green, bringing Trey Hendrickson here, in theory, sounds great. In theory, it also doesn't fit the story of what Howie and the Eagles are doing. Howie's best GM in Philly sports history so far. Oh, Howie is the best GM in Philly sports history so far. I guess so, yeah. 2 Super Bowls in the last 8 years, championships, 3 appearances in Super Bowl. Has there ever been has there ever been a Philadelphia sports team that went to 3 championship games and won 2 of them in an 8-year span? Ever? We're the losingest city in the history of sports. So yeah, I guess that fits. Lori considers Howie a close friend, and he knows the second he would have released another team would have jumped. Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. But he did have a lot of failures up to that point. More failures than successes. More misses than hits. I don't want to turn into negative Nancy over here and bash Howie Roseman, but he made his initial tenure. I remember before I cared about content and stuff like that, the hashtag Fire Howie. I think I joined in on that for a little while. But there's never been a GM or an executive that's rebounded quite like Howie Roseman has. Connie Mack. Did Connie Mack have success? Dombrowski has his work cut out for him. Can't just sit on his hands this year. Look, Dave Dombrowski's, as Miss Rooney would say, if Big Al's listening, Dave Dombrowski is tap dancing on my last nerve. He is borderline becoming Daryl Morey, in my opinion. And the thing is, discussing this with people all weekend long, that John Middleton's the problem with the Phillies. This is from Raiders Frank, I believe, on Twitter. He spent a lot of time this weekend bashing John Middleton. I don't think John Middleton's cheap. I think John Middleton has not put pressure on Dave Dombrowski, just like Josh Harris hasn't put pressure on Daryl Morey. So if you feel like your job is safe, what pressure do you have? You don't have any pressure. So Dave Dombrowski does have to get to work. He should have been at work already making adjustments. He is sitting on his hands right now. And if the Phillies don't win a World Series like you think, Rick, the number one point of blame will be not on Rob Thompson. It'll be on Dave Dombrowski. Yeah. Howie learns he has stepped away from being the smartest guy in the room mentality and going through picking players from schools that have success. He's learned. He's pivoted. He's figured it out. And I think he deserves the praise. But again, Mr. From Twitter earlier, I forget the name now on Twitter, he is getting praised for fixing his biggest mistake in the last 4 years. He'll find somebody if we need one. He will find an edge somewhere. But right now, Howie's not going out there and making a big, bold, shocking move for for an older player. I think there's a better chance of Brandon Graham coming out of retirement than Trey Hendrickson getting traded for. Mr. Steven Fuentes, what's up? Hope you had a great weekend, my man. The NBA Finals is going to suck. OKC is going to win it in 5. SGA is too good, and Indiana won't have the answer for Chet Holmgren length at OKC 3-point. OKC. Wow, we were just talking about like 20 minutes ago how we think it's going to go 6-7 games and it's going to be a tight matchup. And then Steven comes into the comments and says it's going to be a blowout NBA Finals. Interesting. As positive as I am about the Phillies, I'm not confident in Dombrowski. This is a prove-it season. You know, I submitted a question to Pompey, Keith Pompey, for his Inquirer article, and he used it. And I said, is this the last chance for Daryl Morey? Well, and he said, well, maybe, and that's not very confident, meaning he could fail and still keep his job potentially. I say this has got to be Dave Dombrowski's last potential trade deadline. And I don't want to wait until the trade deadline, the end of July, for more things to fall apart. He should have added already some real bullpen arms, not guys you trade for and send to AAA for a little while. No, real bullpen arms, a real outfield bat. And all these Phillies fans pining for Rhys Hoskins to then move Bryce Harper back to the outfield. You really want to risk Bryce Harper getting hurt again and becoming a DH by putting him in the outfield again? No. Yes, we need a Rhys Hoskins type bat, but we don't need another first base DH on this team. We need a power hitting outfielder. We need Justin Crawford up here, and we need 2 legitimate bullpen arms, one that can close games. Go get it. Go get me 3 players and bring up Justin Crawford right now. If you got to trade Ranger Suarez, go for it. Got to trade Mick Gable, go for it. Stallions scored almost 50 points. Who are the Stallions? Who's the best player in the finals? What? I will say, though, the Phillies team is very resilient. Yes, they'll break out of the slump, Rick. I get that. And they're still going to win 90, 95 games, win the division, or be in the wild card. It's what kind of success can they have in the playoffs? And that's on Dave Dombrowski to put the best pieces forward. And right now he has it. OKC has never won a championship. Might be a W to watch. Yeah. No. I don't know who's in the Stanley Cup, honestly. It's a fix. Is it the best fix? Yet to be seen. But it opens up space for a young buck or redemption vet to take. We will have to pay. We all realized that it was going to clear dead cat. Yeah, look, it had to happen. Absolutely had to happen. Bryce Huff. Even just the Philadelphia Eagles opened their second batch of OTAs today. There's 2 roster spots now that are open. Bryce Huff and Brandon Graham's spot now is freed up. Connor McDavid, best player in the world, Oilers, win the finals rematch this year. Hoskins not a fit here. Yeah, exactly. Phillies fans are all over the place with Rhys Hoskins. And I'm like getting killed on Twitter because they said, no, I don't want Rhys Hoskins here. Love Rhys Hoskins. He tore us apart this weekend. He had 2 home runs in the game, the other game on Saturday. Yeah. We don't need another first baseman DH in the city. Kick pays you by the hour. I can now add Kick to StreamYard, by the way. Don't know anything about Kick yet, though. Philly A's had this kind of success before anyone gave. Yeah, exactly. That was the Connie Mack comment. Rick Carl exposed the Knicks' flopping flaws. NBA fans should give him, yes, too legit to quit. What? You were right when you said Otto Kemp should have been called up and Harper should have gone on 10-day IL. Just another. I don't know whose call that is. I'm assuming it's Dombrowski's or a cumulative effort between Dombrowski, Harper, and Topper. But it was probably Harper said, no, I could be back sooner. And this organization does whatever Bryce Harper wants. But he's already missed 5 games. What would be 5 more? If you get a chance to at least showcase Otto Kemp. At the very least. Some Pascal guy is good on Pacers. Yeah, I mean, he's annoying to me. But yeah. I hate him with the Raptors. Mr. Push-Off. He has one move. Gets into the paint, pushes off, and then makes the shot. Pacers in 5. I don't think anybody will predict that. Imagine if Ojulari could stay healthy for a full season. I think in a rotation with the Eagles with Jalen Carter and less double teams, I think Azeez Ojulari could stay healthy for a full season. I think Ojulari can make an impact on this team. I've already said it. I think Ojulari finishes 3rd on the team in sacks this year. And I feel it even more knowing that there won't be a redemption arc for Bryce Huff. How will you feel about Bryce Huff if Bryce Huff goes off to San Francisco and has a big season? Would it be a big miss from Howie? Would it be proof that he was just not a fit for Vic Fangio? I'm really curious about the reaction if Bryce Huff goes off and has a double-digit sack here under Robert Saleh there in San Francisco. It is the type of decision-making that made it possible to move from Wentz's contract. We ate a lot of money, but developed the young core because we had to do this to continue to be successful. Absolutely. Dombrowski is trying to retire as Phillies GM and wants to extend out his tenure as much as possible. Might be time for him to be sent to forced retirement. We'll say that. Guys, you're watching Training the AM. We're 45 minutes in. If you have not already, vote on the poll on the YouTube page here. We got 13 votes so far. We have not gained any subscribers today, but we're at 13 likes on this video. There should be more than 13 likes. So if you haven't already, please like this video. If you haven't already, please share this video out. Please vote on the poll. And if anybody new tunes in, please subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Guys, we're sitting at 529 subscribers. It's time to move it on up. I want Pacers, but OKC guy. Yeah, I want the Pacers to win, but I think OKC will win. When is the first NBA Finals game? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday, the first game? Thursday. I hate the long break in between the end of the conference and the finals. So we got to wait till Thursday night. So I've got a few more days to change my mind on that NBA Finals. Huff could easily thrive in the wide 9 in San Francisco. He could, I think. And you're okay with that? Yeah. I'm okay with it, too. I think it would be a great example of why when you hire somebody like Vic Fangio, you can't fit round pegs into square holes. All right? Or square pegs into round holes, whatever. Huff was not going to be a fit. And that's why everybody jumping up and down for Trey Hendrickson, I don't think people realize that Trey Hendrickson might not be not just financially a good decision, but he also might not be a person that fits what Vic Fangio wants. What's up, Barbara? Good morning to you. I hope you had a great weekend. So the Phillies hit Yelich and put him out when he's been on fire for weeks and destroyed the Phillies in the series. But it's no big deal because Bryce Harper is so high and mighty with his 240 average. Look, we've talked about it a bunch. Bryce Huff should have gone on. And I just brought it up a few minutes ago, Barbara. I'm not sure when you got into the room. Talking about him, he should have gone on the IL. He's already missed 5 games. And, Rick said, I think it was Rick said, was it Rick or somebody said it, that Dombrowski should have put him on the IL and made a mistake there. Problem is, I think it was Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has way too much say in this Phillies team. And I bet you Bryce Harper said, no, I don't want to go on the IL. And that's why he did. But also on the flip side, whatever his average is, he was on fire for a little stretch there before getting hurt. This Phillies offense completely disappeared as soon as Bryce Harper was taken out of the lineup. And that's kind of crazy. Despite him having a bad average this year, his exit from the lineup changed so much. Huff's performance in San Francisco has nothing to do with the Eagles. He wasn't a fit here. If Uncle Vic is not playing him, he's not learning. He's complaining to the press. Yeah, look. I love how Bryce Huff gave an Instagram video with a peace out to the Eagles and Eagles fans. I mean, that peace out sign was 2 fingers, was more than Saxon he had all year long. Chet Holmgren, yeah, he's a good player. Nobody knows who SGA actually is. He's the most annoying MVP in years. Barb, it's funny. I casually watched him for a few years, and I was a big fan. I'm like, this guy's going to win MVP. And before the season, I predicted him or Anthony Edwards to win the MVP this year. And then this year, I watched more of him than ever before, and he's actually annoying. Just like you say, the most anonymous MVP. Anonymous and annoying. It's crazy how SGA gets the MVP and then all of a sudden his reputation changes a little bit. He's flopping all over again. Shame this generation. Jordan. Huff is in the rear view. Hendrickson isn't in the view at all. I agree. Now, we've only got 13 votes on the poll today, which is weird because we've been close to 20 viewers multiple times throughout this show. Only 13 people voted. And it's basically 7 say no, the Eagles shouldn't, but 6 say yes, they should go get Trey Hendrickson. As ex-Young Flyers goalie, winning back-to-back cups would be the ultimate kick in the balls to a team whose blindsides me. Look, it's like bringing up Wonk Steele. Why must you always bring up Bobrovsky and upset me? Bring up Bobrovsky, just, it just annoys me. Hendrickson be overrated. I don't know about that. Trey Hendrickson's got like 747 sacks over the last 3 minutes. So I wouldn't go that far. But we need some vet leadership on the O-line and safety rooms. On the D-line, I think you mean? Because, we got plenty of vet leadership on the offensive line. And the safety rooms. You hope Reed Blankenship, you give him extension, can take on a leadership role. Zach Bond in year 2 will take on a leadership role. And Jalen Carter talked about before last season wanting to become the leader of this defense. So you got those 3 guys that can lead. Now, you're losing a lot of leadership in Brandon Graham and Darius Slay and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. But you got to hope those 3 guys can step up in a leadership role. In my opinion, that's who becomes the leaders, or at least the captains of this team. You just can't be a one-trick pony in the Fangio system. Exactly. Absolutely. Phil, that is not a peace out sign. It's a reversed. And in England, it's similar to maybe this, whatever. Barb says, Phil, with Harper supposedly injured so bad that he can't play, why is he working out in the outfield running, catching balls and throwing? But he's been I think he started working out a little bit on Saturday, I want to say. They were trying to work him out to see if he could play, but he was still supposedly hurt. I do not want Bryce Harper going to the outfield, Barb. I know there's fans that say it. I do not want it. I think he's perfectly fine staying at first base. And he's a very good first baseman, honestly. This is not a hoodie. It's a T-shirt. Always linked below. Lillian's Creations. You can order one and get a Trending in the AM shirt of any kind or hoodie. Check out Lillian's Creations for that. Scotty is back to making golf. Not exciting to watch Sundays again. Yes, we covered Scotty Scheffler early in the show. You as a father, Steven, can appreciate Scotty Scheffler walking off the 18th green after winning the Memorial, and his wife hands him a baby with poop stains running up with an exploding diaper that's exploded all over. Like, that's the ultimate dad moment. Hey, I just won $4 million, but let me change a diaper real quick. How many super chats we can get today? Which is none. Hendrickson had over 17 sacks for 3 straight years, and he's not overrated. Has been, absolutely. I'm not saying he's overrated. Somebody might be, but I'm not. I'm saying the Eagles can't or shouldn't try to afford him. B, would he fit Vic Fangio's system? Now, there is a theory to be said, Barbara, that while Bryce Huff didn't fit, Bryce Huff wasn't to the level of Trey Hendrickson. There's an argument to be made that if you bring in a Trey Hendrickson type, that Vic Fangio would have to pivot a little bit and give a little bit to find a way to maximize what Trey Hendrickson's capable of. If that makes sense. Like, yeah, you got a great player. You figure out a way to make it work. Bryce Huff wasn't that kind of a player. But again, I think the Trey Hendrickson argument is moot because of the money. $27 million in cap space that we got to roll over as much as possible. We probably got to give an extension to Reed Blankenship. You got $40-some million in dead cap space next year being used up, 16.5 of it to Bryce Huff alone. So while Trey Hendrickson would make this defense even better than it already is, it just doesn't seem to fit financially. SGA, this generation, Jordan, stop. Why would you even say something stupid like that? SGA is not any generation's Jordan. That's just a dumb clickbait thing that some nitwit would say. That's something someone would say for clicks. That's something somebody would say for content. That's a big no. Anyway, we're talking Bryce Huff. We're talking what's next. Are we even making an overration? Are we even overrating the amount of issues that the Eagles have at edge? I mean, again, Rick's a big fan of Antoine Powell-Riley, APR. You got Ojulari, you got Uche, you got Hunt, you got Smith. Do we even need another edge rusher? I still think we do, but do we even need it? That Scotty guy has as many wins as the Rockies in last. That's true. That's true. Championship Sunday, Michigan goes into Birmingham in 3. Who? What? Who cares? That last round was briefly interesting. Then Griffin shit the bed at 17. Griffin, I think, had multiple bogeys on 17 and 18 all week long. It's kind of crazy. I feel SGA is an anonymous MVP for the casual NBA viewer. SGA has been good for a few seasons now. His style of play is annoying. It's the Brunson Harden draw foul style, and that's what's unwatchable. I absolutely agree with you on that. Scheffler's wife is reminding him winning $4 million doesn't mean he doesn't have to do dad work. Humble him before the, yeah, I love it. Dude, I saw that and I just laughed my ass off. Laughed my ass off with that dad moment right there. Yo, trade. Yeah. I'll trade you. You give me the check and you take the baby and go change the diaper before filling out your scorecard there. Who cares? Barbara says, Phil, I was comparing Hendrickson to Brandon Graham. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry, my apologies. Was that official stop? Yeah, it was an official. I told you, stop. Didn't Jason Babin have a bunch of sacks for us? My God, was he awful against the run? Yeah, Jason Babin. That dude was that was prime wide 9 technique guy. Prime wide 9. I don't even think I had heard the term wide 9 before that our Eagles defense. Yeah, he was just provoking. He was hoping I'd get off on some rant or something like that. No. XFL Conference Championship is 6 p.m. What? I don't know. I don't care. Trey is more of a defensive end than edge outside. Exactly, Mr. And good morning, Mr. Hope you had a great weekend. I think this is a big part of the Trey Hendrickson thing. It's not just the money or the age. It's also the simple fact that he doesn't fit the style of defense we run. Despite the fact that if you get somebody like him, in theory, maybe you find a way to fit him in. You change your deep. Is Trey Hendrickson the type of guy that you change your defense for? Maybe. And Beeb the flopper. Well, I mean, I can't argue that. I'm so over Embiid. I used to stand up, Barb, for Joel Embiid so much. I just can't anymore. I got no excitement for Joel Embiid at all anymore. Stars are coming back. League expanding. I have no interest in the UFL. I know there's a trend in the AM where your opinions matter. Doesn't mean they're right. And we talk whatever's trending, but I don't think the UFL is trending enough to talk about him yet. Barb, so true. But I'm trying my best to forget. I just hope and pray. I look for a star in the sky, and I call out to him like, please, let's just get rid of Joel and Paul George. I don't care anymore. Yeah, content is king, and my content would die if I talked UFL. Long live the content. Always long live the content. I miss Skip Payless rants. I give you rants occasionally. I just don't got nothing to rant about right now. Sunday is Championship Sunday. Yes. Who cares? Okay, Steve, me too. The whole process thing is so tiresome. And yet TJ McConnell's played in the NBA Finals. And it's still just, I don't even know how to feel. Like, I want TJ McConnell to win one so bad. I just love the guy. The fact that he's playing in an NBA Finals before Joel Embiid. Paul George ever played in NBA Finals? Did he ever get to one with Indiana? He wasn't there. He was after they had their final. Man, I don't know if Paul George ever did. James Harden hasn't. Ben Simmons hasn't. Markel Fultz hasn't. TJ McConnell being the first process guy to play for a finals championship is it's something. 15 likes. Yeah, it's time to reset, guys. You're watching Trade in the AM. 15 likes, not enough. Please, if you have not yet, please hit that like button. Please hit that share button. Vote on our poll. Should the Eagles make a bold trade like Trey Hendrickson? Vote on that. Please do all that stuff. Please subscribe. We're at 529 subscribers to start the week. I would like, let's set a reasonable goal of 540 at the end of the week. That's only 11 more subscribers. Can we find 11 more subscribers this week? You know how we do that? By liking, by sharing, by subscribing, by voting on the poll. All those clicks are free, and all those clicks build the algorithm to help us grow this great channel. I greatly appreciate it. PG has never. I didn't think so. I know the Pacers made a finals back in the day. I can't remember how long ago. With I guess it was way, because that was Smits was still their center, the Duncan Dutchman. So yeah, it was way before Paul George was there. Harden played in finals with OKC. Didn't he? They did when Harden, Westbrook, and Durant went to the finals when they were young. That is right. He was still. I want to say he was a bench player at that point, but yes, you are right, Barbara. That is correct. I forgot that they lost to LeBron in that finals, right? I want to say it was LeBron. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Barbara. They did go to the finals. I think they got blown out in that finals, but yes. I don't like this new Ralph guy on Sopranos. Ralph Cifaretto. He is quite a D-bag in the show, but a great actor, and played the part perfectly. Pacers lost to the Shaq Kobe Lakers early 2000s. Yeah, that was the Rick Smits, Duncan Dutchman era. Yes, absolutely. Sometimes I lose track of dates and times and stuff like that. Like what are this player? Did he play with this guy or that guy? Like I can't keep track of years anymore. But yeah, exactly. So what's next for the Eagles? Do they really do what we think they're going to do? Do they do what we think they're going to do, really do it, and not make any moves? Now, they got 2 roster spots that are open, and I don't expect them to go all week without filling those roster spots. But my expectation is that those 2 roster spots right now are going to go to, like, young undrafted free agent guys. Camp bodies. Guys with a little bit of potential, but we don't know. I fully expect 2 unknowns signed in the coming days. And I think that's the right way to go about it. You go out there, you let the guys you have on this team earn their spots. And then if they don't earn their spots, you make the adjustments. Babin's 18 sacks in 2011 were so hollow to the point I almost feel like bringing up someone else's name from the Phils with hollow numbers. Huh? Go for it. Criticize whoever from the Phillies. The Phillies are not free of criticism here. I think most of that money should be extend Jalen Carter and make him a very rich man. Well, that's the thing. He is going to be a very rich man. And we've talked about it this offseason already, what a Jalen Carter contract will look like. And it's going to be expensive. It's going to be but Milton Williams got $100 million. Jalen Carter's going to get $150 million. Nolan Smith's going to get a big payday. And you've got $40 million in cap hit, already dead cap players. Now, the salary cap will go up next year, as it does every year. But there's so much work to do, contractually speaking, that spending that I don't know what the exact number is, but I think about 20 to 25 million is what they're allowed to roll over. I fully expect Howie Roseman to roll every single penny he's legally allowed to roll over into next year because he's got so much work to do. So much. And they got a dozen draft picks to pay next year, too. You know, I don't expect them to keep them all, but you get it. Who knew the salon owner, Al Sweat, and John, what? I don't know. Knicks played Indiana in 4 Eastern Finals throughout the years. Kind of goes unnoticed. Really? Wow. It's gone so unnoticed, I didn't even know. Carter and Quinion deserve every penny they get. I mean, we're a little too early. I mean, it's not even worth talking about Quinion Mitchell's contract because he's only entering year 2. He has to finish year 3 before he could do that. Next off season, we'll be talking about saving money for the next off season for Quinion. We're a long ways away from Quinion and Cooper DeJean. Not a long way, but a long way. By then, we'll be talking about Jalen Hurts extensions too. I don't want to sound like a homer, but have we seen a trade execution similar to Bryce Huff? Maybe he's a one Austin Sala wanted Huff that bad. I don't understand the question. Like someone as bad as Bryce Huff that actually got, or someone as disappointed as Bryce Huff that actually got traded versus getting cut. Maybe. Is that what you're saying? The fact that Howie was able to get any kind of draft capital for Bryce Huff is a win. And guys, we're up to almost 20 viewers again. So please, there should be 20 likes on this video. Share, subscribe, vote on the poll going on YouTube, guys. I don't know how Howie did it. But Robert Saleh obviously knows something, wants to figure something out with Bryce Huff. He's confident that he could figure something out with Bryce Huff. He was obviously his coach when he had the one-hit wonder with the Jets. Remember, I did call him Marshawn. I called him a one-hit wonder potentially when we signed him last offseason. So, I don't know. Quinion Mitchell's going to be so. Seeing the contracts that were given out this offseason to elite playmaking cornerbacks, yeah, by the time in 2 years when Quinion Mitchell is up for a deal, it's going to be $35 million a year for Quinion Mitchell. It's going to be about 40. You're going to have Quinion Mitchell and Jalen Carter making a combined $75 million. Salary cap better go up a shit ton over the next couple of years. They said it the other night, 94, 99, 2000, 2025. Obviously, 2025. Trying to think of those years. 94 was Ewing. Was 99 and 2000. Was that the 99 2000? Was that the Allen Houston Latrell Sprewell Knicks? I want to say that was the team in 99 and 2000 with the Knicks. That was definitely the Rick Smith, Duncan Dutzman Pacers. I got in 94 was obviously the Reggie Miller Pacers. Was 99 2000 Latrell Sprewell, Allen Houston, or whatever, Andre Houston, Allen Houston, whatever his name was. I always thought Allen Houston was a good underrated player in the NBA. By then, we'll have our 3rd Super Bowl championship. Absolutely. You know, it's funny. The Eagles got a lot of money locked up in offense. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, their offensive line. Jalen Hurts eventually. Well, he is, but eventually the cap hit will be big. And we're going youth on defense. But now Howie's hit on so many great defensive players in the draft that he's going to have to spend a lot of money on defense. Do we, in like a year or two, start drafting some young studs on offense to cheapen the offense up at some point? Does that make sense what I just said there? Like, you got all the money here, none here. But as the money comes up here, that money's got to come from somewhere. And maybe we see a shift in that philosophy. Knicks blowing game 1 was worse than Reggie Miller game for many Knicks. Yeah, probably. Meaning Howie executing that trade by working his financial magic. Yeah, I mean, he did make a lot of tweaks to the contract of Bryce Huff to facilitate the trade as well. Jeffrey Lurie was willing to pay out some more money to facilitate the trade as well. I mean, there's a reason, Marshawn, where they're already talking about in 2031 changing the salary cap rules because of mainly what Howie Roseman does. You can't ban the tush push. We might as well ban the Howie Roseman from the NFL. Bryce Huff will have double-digit sacks this year. I don't know. He's played 5 years in the NFL. His 4th year, he had more sacks than the other 4 years combined. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. Phil, plus Reggie Miller was on that first. He was on all 3 of those first 3. Okay. Reggie Miller played into 2000. Wow. Again, the timeline. I can't track the timeline very well. Pacers were our thorn in the side before we broke through in 2001. Yes. I enjoyed the Exciting Whites podcast with Blankenship and DeZine. They had smart interview. I've caught clips, but not a lot. But is Howie really that superior when it comes to contracts and cap space that trades like Huff looks like a streak of genius? Yes, because for as successful as Howie is and how much people praise him, not just in Philadelphia, but across the league and across the media, because as much as Jalen Hurts is great, he gets still hated all the time. Howie Roseman gets the credit he deserves, big picture. Nobody else has been able to mimic what Howie Roseman does. And I think that's why he's so special. I think that's why he's so superior. Puff wouldn't have those sacks on the Eagles, though. That's what we care about. Yeah, exactly. My weekend had ups and downs. How was yours? My weekend had some ups and downs too, mister. I hope you're okay. I will say this. We sat down and watched a documentary last night. The Tylenol Killer. Let me tell you something. I don't know if I'm ever taking prescription medicine again. How did I not ever hear about the Tylenol Killer before? Documentary on Netflix. But miss, I hope you're okay. Hope your ups were better than your downs. Without sound like a homer, because Howie gets a ton of praise like Sam. Yeah, but see, the thing is, Marshawn, you might have missed the majority of the beginning of the show. And there's a great commenter, and I forget his name, he was on Twitter. And I said it on the Eagles check down this morning. For as much credit as we're giving Howie Roseman for this trade of Bryce Huff, it was his worst decision he also made in the last 4 years. He just fixed his mistake. He just didn't wait long to fix his mistake. And if we didn't win the Super Bowl, he might get a little bit more criticism for the Huff deal. But winning cures all. And, we kill Daryl Morey all the time for fixing his own mistakes like James Harden. Well, he hasn't won. Howie gets the benefit of the doubt and gets the homer praise because he's won. He's won 2 titles in the last 8 years. He's brought us to 3 championship games in the last 8 years. He gets the benefit of the doubt. Sam Presti is just basically Sam Hinkie in disguise. He's really good at the cap space to the point that the front office is trying to cut out it. Exactly. And who cares what they do? By 2031, when they make the changes, we're going to have another 2 Super Bowls by then. The Eagles are right now what the Steelers were in the 70s. Enjoy this ride as we are in the greatest era of Eagles football ever. We are. Without a shadow of a doubt. I have to mute. Haven't watched yet, Phil. What? Oh, the Tylenol Killers. Watch it. Dark. Crazy. And I'm a conspiracy theorist in the sense of drug companies doing things to screw us all. Like I truly do believe there's a cure for cancer and they're just hiding it for the money. Interesting stuff. They suspended the 49ers GM in the 90s for circumventing the salary cap. I have to look that up. I want to look that up. I think I vaguely remember that. It's on my notebook. I don't know when I'll get to looking that up, but I've got to look that up. The Tylenol Cure is why we have safety seals and boxes. Exactly. Remember when we were growing up, they just sold the bottles on the shelf. Look, I don't know how I didn't know about this or as much about this as I do now after last night. Let me tell you something. We're checking seals a lot more frequently, Tuck. Definitely. And the fact that they still don't know the answer to that. It's crazy. He fixed his mistake, but his and Lori's execution of fixing that mistake is what I find amazing. It looked really bleak. Absolutely. We're sitting here trying to convince ourselves, Marshawn, that Bryce Huff will have a redemption story, a redemption arc this year, just because it was so bleak. But they found a way. And Howie could not pull that off if Jeffrey Lurie wasn't willing to bite the bullet on a little extra cash out right now. Gotcha. The troubling thing was the Tylenol Killer kill all those people like 3 to cover up killing he didn't kill yet. Look, let's not do any spoilers for TMZ, but it was definitely very interesting. I've said this before. I don't like every Netflix documentary because they're not all my style or topic, but I've never watched one that wasn't well put together. They produce excellent documentaries. So, NFL worried about the tush push when they should be worried about Howie's methods. Well, they couldn't fix the tush push or change the tush push, so now they're going to change Howie Roseman's methods. They're going to screw the Eagles however they can. Not back in the 80s, there weren't seals on stuff like that. Look at the toxic things Skittles agreed to cut out of the candies. Don't want to know because I love Skittles. Carbon policy did get in hot water, but I thought it was for tampering. I have to look it all up. I vaguely remember something, but I don't remember what. Howie is doing it in a very legal way. He was giving them money off the books, accountants versus moms. Look, what he does is legal. But teams don't like it because no other teams want to do it. No other owner is willing to part with their cash up front like that. The two biggest money makers in this country, sadly, are war and sickness. Yep, absolutely. I don't want to get deep and dark into that, but yes, 100%. We can have this conversation off the air or on your channel. I don't like to get too serious, but yes, 1,000% yes on that, Rick. Sounds like an episode of Matlock that I saw. Probably was on a lot. I bet you a lot. I bet you Matlock. I bet you Murder, She Wrote. All of them probably did something on it. Don't forget flat currency. Any later daters? What? The Tylenol killer is like 40 years ago. If you don't know, then you didn't want to know. Yeah, I mean, it was 82 when it happened. I was 2 years old. So yeah, I'm sure my mom was freaking out. I'm sure my mom threw out everything in the house. I don't make the rules of football. We have no idea what's going on with that now. I don't think the Tylenol person was ever caught. So he was basically Al Capone. He went to jail for something else, then got out, then went to jail for something else, then got out, and then he died. Just old age or something. They didn't really say. Yeah, exactly. Alex Hunt looks confident that he will win the starting position with all the competition how he brought in. I mean, it's with no Bryce Huff in the competition. This is not a knock on APR, but Alex Hunt should be right now the presumptive starter on the defensive line or the edge position with Nolan Smith. Now, can Azeez Ojulari beat him out? Yes, he's got the potential. But Alex Hunt should be the guy that gets first crack on the outside as a starter. Howie's playing chess while others are playing checkers, and they don't like that. Some big chess upset last night. Saw it on Twitter for K1. Didn't somebody upset somebody on some big chess tournament this past weekend? Angela Lansbury suck. Ain't Luigi the Tylenol killer? Luigi, what? Look, it's not like we're spoiling a TV show. We're spoiling something that happened. You could just Google it. Currency is conspiracy theory if you don't know. The killer of Brown and her boyfriend were never caught either. We're not going down that rabbit hole right now. Not going down that. I don't know why I've even brought. I should have known bringing up the Tylenol killer would have brought something crazy comments into the chat. But yeah, anyway, we're getting to the final 10 minutes of today's show. And by the way, we do have 59 days to the first Eagles game. August 1st, Thursday, August 1st, home against Cincinnati. Should I do a live stream for a preseason football game on Thursday, August 1st? That'll be the big question. I want to do live streams for every game this year. As many as I can. Do we start with preseason games? I do love listening to Ross Tucker on the calls. We'll have to think about that. I never watched the Aaron Hernandez one. Not yet. APR, we're just so you know, Rick, we're just going to call him APR because remembering to say Antoine Powell Ryland, I want to say Antoine Ryland Powell. It's just easier to say APR. So we'll say APR. Like Nolan Smith, we'll need this season to get his feet under him and adjust the NFL. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I was trying to be nice because I know you're really hyped on him. I don't expect much from him this year. Now that Bryce Huff isn't here, I expect him to dress every game. maybe be a special teamer, maybe get a few snaps here or there. But I think APR is going to need some time. Larry Hoover got pardoned by trouble. Okay, I don't know. Every team could do what Howie does, but they choose not to do it because many players don't want to use it, and no NFL team wants to get into a mini Bonilla Day situation. Well, the Eagles haven't really gotten into that because they found ways to continue to circumnavigate it even when it's down the line. You need an owner willing to pay the way Jeffrey Lurie does. Oh, how good was he as a player? I mean, he was a great player. He was just a psychopath. Phillies are back playing Pirates and the Blue Jays, so the wins will pile up again. Are the Blue Jays no good right now? I meant to look. I know we got the Blue Jays this week, but I wasn't sure. I know the Pirates are obviously bad. Yeah. We'll see. Mick Abel's starting on Thursday. We'll see. I thought the Blue Jays were a good team. At least they were last year. I don't know where they're at this year. Let's see. NBA or MLB standings. Yeah, Toronto's 31-28, so just over 500. They are on a 5-game winning streak right now. So they were 26 and 28. 26 and 28, and now they're 31 and 28. So they're red hot right now. I like to watch every snap in preseason. It's nice to see the development players. Yeah, I think we'll do a little live stream for a preseason. I might not stay open or on for the whole entire preseason game, but I think we will. We got swept like Cinderella at the ball. Yeah. Did you know Nicole Brown and her boyfriend got a Colombian necktie? I don't want to get into that at all. No, Blue Jays are mediocre. Vlad is super overrated. Is he super overrated? Maybe. I mean, the contract was pretty massive that he signed. Who's more overrated, Vlad or Juan Soto? Bold question. Vlad's hit 283, 8 homers, 28 RBIs. Only got 829 OPS. Damn. He's having a very bad season, I'll tell you that, based off the money he's making. It's about the journey. That's why I love baseball season. It's like a good book full of ups and downs. It's fun. City of Toronto is still upset about the Leafs. This is not your Cito Gaston. No, of course it's not the Cito Gaston Blue Jays. We're not going to have Joe Carter coming out this week. Not at all. Not at all. So what's on deck this week? I don't know. I don't know what's on deck this week. We got OTAs today and tomorrow. Not sure what the media availability is this week. We may or may not talk about it, depending on how much information we get. We're going to talk Phillies, obviously, more. Maybe a little NBA Finals later in the week. Obviously, we got Fairway to Heaven tomorrow night. Soto's overrated because of the amount of money. Absolutely. But also, he's a pouty little baby. I mean, Marshall, did you see him? Was it last weekend? He got dropped in the lineup, and he refused to swing his bat because as a statement for being dropped in the lineup. You're making $750 million, and you're going to pout like a little child? I lost any little respect I had for Soto. Gone. He has had the better career, and that's why he's making double the money. But nobody should make that kind of money. Yeah, obviously we lost the last 4 games, so yeah, obviously. Cito Gaston came back, but the team was just awful. No. K1, nope. At least Ohtani hits and pitches, and his salary is deferred. Larry just got Vlad is in the Trout category. He never wins playoff rounds. I see again, Phillies fans out there wanting Mike Trout now that he's back and healthy for now again. I cannot say enough how much trading for Mike Trout would not be a good idea either. All the Phillies rumors we're going to hear over the next 4 weeks. Rhys Hoskins and Mike Trout do not need to be Philadelphia Phillies. Can we just not? Can we not go down those paths again, Phillies fans? It just doesn't make sense anymore. It's not just a contract. Trout's just not a good player anymore. Trout's always hurt. And even when he's not hurt, let me pull up his stats this year. Give me a second here. Pulling it up. It's taking a second. Yeah, he was a pitch hitter yesterday because he couldn't even start yesterday. So he can't even play every day. Mike Trout this year is hitting 207 with 9 homers and 20 RBIs. He's hitting 207. He hit 220 last year. Played 29 games last year. 2023, only played 282 games. Hit 263. He hasn't been good since 2022. He hasn't played over 120 games since 2019. No more Mike Trout. I'm out on Trout. The important thing is the 5 more minutes. We'll give you as much value as you want. I don't have to go to work. I got to golf today. I got to leave at 11 a.m. to go golfing. So I'm not under a clock to leave. I could stay past the next 4 minutes. Will I? I don't know. So I actually heard that Trout calls Howie frequently for Eagles news. We all know he loves the Eagles. I mean, he sits at every home game, starting in October every year because he never makes the playoffs. But doesn't mean I want him on the Phillies. Pitching. That's what the Phillies need. I mean, I still would like to see a power hitting outfielder. I would. Nope. Trout has more homers than Harper despite missing over a month. It's true. That is true. Yeah. Playing Kennett Country Club today with my man Jim the Realtor. Little charity scramble thing. Always want to play Kennett Country Club. Don't know if it's any good or not, but we're playing it. Got my clubs ready. Hoping to leave at about 11 a.m. Get there about 10 minutes before the check-in time so I go to the range and warm up a little bit so I don't embarrass myself too much. Remember when the fan base was clamoring for Manny Machado? Yeah, I remember the Machado versus who do you want to go with, Machado or Harper? Everyday golf. It's going to be like 70 degrees. It's sunny. It's going to be a beautiful day for golf. I remember the Machado stuff. I do. And I don't remember who I wanted. I really, truly don't remember who I wanted more at that time. The Iron Pigs are very good. They got some talent that we could use on this team right now. I will not be channeling my inner Scheffler at all. There is no Scheffler inside of me. Yeah, no, anyway. It's all in the hips, yeah. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to have a good time, chill out, swing some golf balls, hope the other people he brings for our foursome are better at golf than me. That's what I'll be doing. We wanted both Harper and Machado. Did we? I mean, that was obviously 2019. I'd never stepped behind a microphone before. Well, on a podcast before. You know what I was joking about there. You got the joke. I know it. I agree. No, I don't. I will say this loud and clear. I have never, ever changed a diaper in my life. Never once. On a human. I mean, I changed old man Al's diapers when he was at the end of his time. But that was it. I've never changed a human diaper ever in my life. Never will. I've got 3, 4, 8. I've got 8 nieces and nephews. Babysat them plenty of times. Never changed a diaper. Never will. See the ball? Be the ball. That's right. It's pretty simple. I honestly don't know how I've ever gone with so many nieces and nephews, never changed a diaper. But it's a good thing my wife, I just make her do it every time we babysat when they were babies. Now they're old enough to do it on their own. I have no idea. I always tell my wife I won't do it. I won't change hers. And she gets really mad at me when I say that. But anyway. All right, guys, it's time to start the wrap-up process here. It is. We're going to close the book on the day. We're going to close out. Oh, we've got more comments coming. I've literally changed 5 of my cousin's diapers and several cousins' kids' diapers. Nope, never done it. Topper is so boring. I want to see him have a meltdown and start throwing base pads. He got thrown out of a game this weekend. Good for him. It's about time he got thrown out and showed some emotion. Is what it is. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. We'll be back tomorrow with more content, more Eagles talk, more Phillies talk. And who knows what else will come up. More diaper talk. But everybody have a great Monday. Thank you all very much. If you haven't already, Like, share, subscribe. Please tell a friend. I want to gain 11 subscribers this week. We'll get to 540 this week. So please help me out. Like, share, and subscribe. Would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Whatever you could do would mean a lot. And replay gang, Eric, everybody else out there, I check all comments on the replay, so definitely drop your comments. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow. Oh, one final comment. You want to know how tough you are? Change a diaper for an infant. No. Don't want to know. Don't want to know. Anyway, everybody have a great day. Go Birds. Bubbles up.